In today's world, it's easy to confuse external achievement with inner strength. We're constantly bombarded by images of success, flashy lifestyles, awards, followers, titles. Society tells us that power comes from what you have, what you own, how others see you. But this illusion leads many down a path of emptiness, where they build impressive facades, while their inner foundation remains weak and fragile. True strength, however, doesn't come from possessions or appearances. It comes from the quiet, often invisible work done deep within your mind and soul. Inner strength is the ability to remain centered when everything around you is shifting. It's the ability to stand firm when you face rejection, failure, or betrayal. This kind of strength isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about having the self-awareness to process what's happening inside you without letting it dictate your actions. It's about being anchored in your values, your vision, and your truth, regardless of the noise from the outside world. Think of a tree. The most impressive trees are not just the tallest or most beautiful. The ones that survive storms are the ones with the deepest roots. Inner strength is like those roots. Without them, a person may look successful, but a single setback, a single insult, a single storm can topple them. With inner strength, however, a person can bend but not break, adapt but not lose their essence. To build this strength, you must shift your attention inward. You must become curious about your thoughts, your patterns, your fears, and your triggers. You must challenge the lies you've believed about yourself and replace them with empowering truths. This requires courage. The courage to face your shadows, the patience to heal old wounds, and the discipline to stay committed to your growth, even when progress feels slow. Inner strength is also the source of your decisions. When you are strong within, you no longer need to ask, "What will they think of me?" Instead, you ask, "What aligns with who I am becoming?" You no longer seek the approval of others to feel good about yourself. You no longer chase validation in relationships, jobs, or material status. Your energy shifts from seeking to creating, from reacting to leading. And this is where everything changes. Because once your strength comes from within, your confidence becomes authentic. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to prove anything. You simply live from a place of truth. And that truth begins to guide your actions, attract the right people, and open doors you never imagined possible. You become less influenced by other people's moods, less shaken by criticism, and less dependent on outcomes. You begin to understand that peace, fulfillment, and joy aren't something you chase. They are something you generate. True strength is quiet. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't compete. It simply is. You can feel it in someone's presence, in their calmness, their discipline, their clarity. These are not traits you can buy or borrow. They must be cultivated over time, through conscious inner work, through meditation, reflection, solitude, struggle, and growth. And this journey is not linear. You will fall, you will doubt, but each time you get back up, something within you becomes more solid, more grounded, more unshakable. Discipline is not about restriction. It is about liberation. It is the silent power behind every act of growth, transformation and long-term success. When people speak of inner strength, that's why I often imagine emotional resilience or mental toughness. But rarely do they trace its roots back to the daily discipline that nurtures it. Yet discipline is the forge in which inner strength is shaped. It is the structure that allows your potential to be realized. Without it, intentions remain ideas, dreams remain fantasies, and inner power stays dormant. Discipline is the ability to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's the decision to rise before dawn, not because it's easy, but because you've committed to something greater than comfort. It's choosing growth over gratification, principle over impulse, and consistency over chaos. While motivation may get you started, discipline is what keeps you going when motivation disappears, and it always disappears. We live in a world addicted to ease, comfort, and instant results. But growth doesn't live there. Inner strength doesn't flourish in comfort zones. It's born in resistance. Every time you resist the temptation to delay, to indulge, or to quit, you cast a vote for the stronger version of yourself. That is how the internal muscle is built. Not in loud declarations of change, but in quiet, repeated actions that align with your highest values. Discipline also teaches you how to respect yourself. When you follow through on promises to yourself, even the small ones, you begin to trust your own word. You begin to build a relationship with yourself that is rooted in reliability. Think about it. How can you expect to trust your path or your purpose if you don't trust yourself to take the next step? Every time you choose action over excuse, you reinforce your belief in your own strength. That belief becomes the foundation of your confidence. It's not arrogance. It's assurance earned through consistent effort. Moreover, discipline is not just about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. It's not about being busy, but being focused. True discipline requires clarity. Knowing what deserves your energy, your time, your attention. It's about cutting away the distractions, the noise, and the drama that dilute your power. It is in this clarity that your energy becomes precise, sharp, and effective. Discipline also removes the chaos from your emotional world. When you live without structure, you become reactive. Your days are driven by external events, by moods, by circumstances. But when you live with discipline, you take the wheel. You create order in your day, and through that order, you create peace in your mind. The structure gives your life a rhythm, a flow, and with it comes emotional balance. You become less thrown by stress, less overwhelmed by challenges, because you have systems in place. You have trained for the moment, and now the moment cannot break you. And there is beauty in this repetition, in doing the work when no one is watching. Because the more you practice discipline, the more it becomes who you are. Not something you have to force, but something that flows naturally. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. There will be days when you fail, when you fall, when you feel like giving up. But discipline isn't about never failing. It's about returning again and again to the path you've chosen. It's about remembering why you started and pushing forward even when everything inside you wants to stop. For far too long, society has conditioned us to believe that showing emotion is a sign of fragility, that strength lies in being cold, detached, or unaffected. But this couldn't be further from the truth. True inner strength is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It is about understanding them, navigating them with wisdom, and mastering how they influence your actions. Emotional mastery is not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent. And this intelligence is one of the highest and most profound forms of power a human being can possess. Emotional mastery begins with awareness. You cannot manage what you do not recognize. It starts with slowing down enough to truly feel what you're experiencing without judgment. Instead of pushing away fear, frustration, sadness, or anger, you sit with it. You observe it. You ask, where is this coming from? What is this teaching me? This process requires honesty and courage because it's easier to distract yourself than to dive into the deeper waters of your emotional landscape. But this exploration is where strength is forged. The strongest people are not those who appear stoic and unbothered. They are the ones who have developed the capacity to feel deeply while still remaining in control. They don't allow emotions to hijack their decisions or dictate their identity. When anger arises, they don't lash out. They listen to it, understand its root, and choose a conscious response. When fear shows up, they don't retreat. They acknowledge it, face it, and still move forward. This ability to remain centered in the face of emotional waves is what separates the reactive from the powerful. Emotional mastery also means no longer blaming others for how you feel. You begin to take full responsibility for your inner world. You stop saying, "He made me angry," or "She ruined my mood." You begin to realize that your emotional state is yours to manage. This doesn't mean denying someone's impact, but it means refusing to give away your emotional sovereignty. When you master your emotions, you become the author of your experience rather than a passive participant in someone else's story. But emotional strength is not just about how you handle pain. It's also about how you receive joy, love, and connection. Many people are more afraid of vulnerability than they are of suffering. Why? Because to open your heart fully, to care, to love, to trust, is to expose yourself. But this is where the true test of strength lies. Emotional mastery means you can risk being hurt without losing yourself. You can love without attachment. You can connect without control. You are not driven by neediness, fear, or desperation. Instead, you engage with the world from a place of fullness, not emptiness. This mastery doesn't happen overnight. It is developed in the small, often invisible choices you make every day. When you pause instead of react. When you speak from clarity, not chaos. When you hold space for others without letting their storm become your storm. These moments of awareness build emotional resilience. They build trust in yourself. They make you a better leader, a better partner, a better human being. Not because you've become perfect, but because you've become present. In a world full of noise, unpredictability, and constant change, the greatest gift you can give yourself is an unshakable inner foundation. When you build a fortress within, you create a space inside yourself that is immune to the chaos around you. This inner fortress is not made of walls to keep life out. It is made of clarity, self-awareness, and mental strength that allows life to come in without destroying your peace. It is a place you can return to no matter what storms rage outside. So many people live as though their emotional and mental state is at the mercy of everything around them. Other people's opinions, financial stress, global events, relationships, or daily inconveniences. They are pulled in every direction because their sense of identity is rooted in things they do not control. But when your peace is dependent on external validation, your strength becomes fragile. When your sense of worth relies on outcomes, your confidence becomes conditional. And when your happiness is dictated by circumstance, it will always be temporary. This is why the work of building an inner fortress is so vital. It means creating a strong, grounded sense of self that doesn't waver with the winds of life. It means knowing who you are at your core, not based on titles, roles, achievements, or status, but based on your values, your principles, and your truth. When you are clear on who you are, the world cannot confuse you. Criticism doesn't crush you. Praise doesn't inflate you. Loss doesn't break you. You may bend, but you will not fall, because your roots are planted in something deeper than circumstance. This inner fortress is built one choice at a time. Each time you choose integrity over popularity, silence over unnecessary conflict, patience over reaction, you are laying another brick in your foundation. Each time you protect your peace instead of chasing drama, every time you choose to respond instead of react, you reinforce the strength of your inner world. And eventually, you begin to live from the inside out, not the outside in. When this transformation happens, your external reality begins to reflect your internal clarity. You attract what you are. A calm mind invites harmony. A grounded soul invites stability. A strong heart invites purpose. The people around you begin to shift. The way you respond to challenges begins to change. You stop trying to control everything because you've already mastered the one thing that matters most: yourself. The fortress within is not made of ego. It is not built on arrogance or denial. It is built on honesty, humility, and discipline. It is the result of countless hours of self-reflection, struggle, solitude, and resilience. It is forged in the fire of discomfort, in the crucible of setbacks, in the silence of early mornings where you chose growth over ease. This fortress doesn't make you hard. It makes you whole. It doesn't shut the world out. It gives you the strength to face it fully, without losing yourself in the process.